Hello and welcome back to my channel. I just got back from Thanksgiving break and I was putting away all of my hobby things that I brought on that trip, which was my last video, I think, was my Granada stamp needlepoint in Florida video. So that was my last video. So putting those things away and then prepping for my next video, which is my December hobby reset. And as I was kind of doing all of this, I thought I've never shown my hobby bag on here, so I thought I would share it with you today and talk about kind of what I keep in it, how I organize it, what its purpose is. It is not an analog bag. That is something I have seen online before. My understanding of an analog bag is that it's a bag you kind of schlep around with you that has different hobbies and activities in it. Like, you know, it could be a crossword, a book, needlepoint, knitting, watercolor painting, any little hobby that you might enjoy or want to do while out and about. That is not what this is. This is a bag that lives at home. It has all of my current hobbies, whips, projects, etc. in it. And basically it travels from room to room with me, like my bedroom to the kitchen to the living room. If I'm going away for a long weekend by train or car, it'll come with me, but it's not like taking a bus journey to a cafe to meet a friend. I will just like grab knitting or a book out of the bag if I want an activity to do on like a 30-minute bus ride or subway ride, and just pop that into the bag I'm carrying during the day. I'm not bringing this massive bag with me everywhere. So that is what kind of like my hobby bag is, if that makes sense. It's basically everything I'm working on for the most part that is portable enough and small enough. All of my hobbies do have like homes in my apartment. I've got, I think behind me, I'm not sure if you can see, I have like needlepoint and yarn. I don't think you can see on this top shelf up there. Then there's a bowl on this shelf somewhere. I've got blue and gray yarns in it. In these baskets down here, I have more yarn. I've got my hobby binder over here. I've got my sewing machine and a bunch of fabric in a closet. I've got more yarn over there. I have whittling stuff, like my woodworking things, which I don't think I've ever really, no, I think I've shown my spoon that I made on this channel and my basket that I made. Oh, in the little basket that I made, I keep my little boutique things. So like my fabric pens I've been using for that, and the like cotton yarn that I use to stuff the boutique channels. Underneath me, under the bed, I have like painting, markers, paper, those types of things that I'm not using all too often, maybe once a month. So they're a little harder to get to, but that's under the bed. So all of that is to say, everything has a home, it has somewhere it lives, or like the supplies live somewhere, but the projects that I'm currently working on live in this bag. So without further ado, I'll just give you a little tour, show you what I keep in it. To start, this is the bag that I use. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to lift it up sitting down like this. It's pretty heavy. It's just this big canvas bag I got from a jewelry trade show called Couture. I used to work in jewelry, and we go to this trade show every year. I went like 3 times, and this bag I want to say is from 2017 or 2018, so a while ago. It's just like a random bag I had sitting around. I know people who do this like analog bag trend. I think people like buy bags for it, which I think is a little silly. Just like use a bag you have. So yeah, that's the bag I use. It's this big green one. It's canvas. It is so sturdy. I've used it for various things over the years, as a beach bag, as a bag to carry things to work, a grocery shopping bag, but most recently in the past like 6 months to a year or so, I've used it as my hobby bag. It is quite disorganized in here. It's a little chaotic, so I'm not sure how I want to go through this. I don't know if you can see, maybe I can show you. It's just all kind of stuffed in there. Like organized chaos, I would say. So I think I'll start with like my whips that I keep in here, and then I'll move on to random things. So the first whip that I have in here is a knitting project. I'm gonna talk more about this in my December hobby reset, like November wrap up, which is my next video. I'll post that on Tuesday. But I am knitting something with this purple yarn. So if you want to see what I'm working on, wait for that video. But this is my only knitting whip right now. So it is a small project that I'm working on. It's not that big. If I am working on like a large knitting project, like let's say a sweater that requires, I don't know, 15 balls of yarn, I'm not keeping all 15 balls of yarn in this bag. They're living in their home. Like maybe they'll be in those baskets down there, or I have other baskets on a shelf over there that those extra balls of yarn might live in. I will usually only keep the ball I'm actively using, or like the two if I'm holding yarn together, and maybe one or two extra in case I finish those while I'm out. So it's not like I'm keeping a full sweater's quantity of yarn in this bag. And there have been times where, like for example, Jake's sweater that I knit for him, the sweater outgrew the bag, and I keep my projects in drawstring bags, so I will just kind of like tie them on like that to the outside of the bag, so it's like an external bag, because again, this is going from next to my bed to next to the chairs in my room to the couch, maybe into a car. Like it's not being brought around everywhere, so this is totally fine, tying a bag to the outside. But this is a little small project, so this knitting project stays in here. And then the next project, little whip I've got going on in here, is my boutique. This I've already shown. You'll see how little progress I've made on this in my next video, but this is my little boutique scissor case I've been working on. That has also been living in here, and I'll grab it when I want to work on it. That's that one. And then I've got my two needlepoint whips. I think these are the only other whips I've gotten here. The first is my Granada stamp whip, which was my most recent video. I think I've made a bit more progress than, oh, okay, I put it in here. That's a little silly of me. I've made a bit more progress than was shown in my last video. But this little stamp, again, we'll be talking more about these in depth in my next video. This is just to show what I keep. And then I have the the thread for my Statue of Liberty needlepoint canvas, which I have only been working on this in my room. So I've just been keeping this on these little, I don't know what you would call them, coffee tables, I guess, side tables that are next to my chairs that are in the corner of my room. So she has been living outside of the bag. She's a little too big to fit in this. Like I thought it would fit. Like, doesn't it look like it would fit? But it's just a little too big. So it does not fit in this bag. And I don't want any projects to be exposed to the bag, like inside the bag, if that makes sense. I'd rather just keep this on a table, just kind of sitting like this, where I know it's safe and nothing is going to ruin it. So she is one of two whips that are not kept in this bag. The second whip that is not kept in this bag is my quilt. Obviously, quilt is huge. I don't keep my quilt even in like a drawstring bag. That is just like on the floor, basically. It does not have a home. Once it's being hand quilted, it just lives wherever I see a space for it. So those are the only two whips that are not kept in here, I think. That's it. So those are kind of my whips that are in this bag. And then I also keep extra drawstring bags. These are just shoe bags. This one is from the Real, and this is like a shoe bag. I keep them just in case I'm in Vermont or Pennsylvania, let's say, and I go to the yarn store and I buy some yarn for a new project. I've got like empty drawstring bags that I can put new whips in that I may start. Also, speaking of that, if I do go up to Vermont, for example, I will put my ChowGoo interchangeable needle case in here, just in case like something like that does happen. But that does normally live with my knitting things over there. But if I do go away for a weekend, there are like a few things I will grab and pop in here in addition to what is already in here. So whatever. Not that that like needs to be known, but whatever, that's just sharing it. And then what else do I have? Oh, I have, this is my little kind of dirty, I don't know what is on this bag of things that I use for various projects. I have this little duck tin, and in it are my stitch markers. I just use light bulb safety pins. And then I also have, is there only one in here? I don't know where the second one is. Like tapestry needles to weave in the ends of knitting projects. And then I've got measuring tape and a little pair of scissors that I use for both needlepoint and knitting. So that is in this little bag. I also have my iPad, which I need to charge. Actually, I think it's dead, but my iPad lives in here. I have a handful of patterns, like knitting patterns on here. So if I am knitting, for example, like I don't have it in here yet, the knitting pattern for this project I haven't printed yet, but it is on my iPad. So if I were to go away in 15 minutes, I could just grab this bag and not worry about needing the printed pattern, although that I do prefer that, but it is on here if I need it. I also have it on my hard drive, which I do keep in here. This is my hard drive of knitting patterns, quilt patterns, basically a bunch of backups of this binder here, my craft hobby binder that I've shown before, and also like video things. So anything from my YouTube channel is also on here. And that lives in here for the most part, unless obviously like actively using it. And what else? Oh, okay. I've got a charger for my iPad and my Kindle, which my Kindle also lives in here. This is my Kindle in its little case. I made this little case, it's so cute. I'm currently reading The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. So my Kindle lives in this little protective quilted case that I made for it in this bag. And I also have, matching this, my pencil case. In here I keep pens, pencils, markers, colored pencils. I've got this big clip, anything like that that I might need or want, because I do have a few papery things I write on in here. I've got, that needs to be fixed, what I've been using as my hobby journal for this like second half or past like 3 months of this year. But I do have plans. I'm making a new hobby journal right now, so I'm excited to share that later this month. But this is my current hobby journal, what I'm just using to take notes on projects I'm working on, projects I want to work on, this, that, and the other random things. So hobby related notes go in here. So I need the pencil case for that to keep pens and pencils. I also have my like personal journal, diary, whatever you want to call it, just like my brain on paper. And then I also keep a graph paper pad in here. This is just from Amazon. Graph paper is great for planning out quilts or needlepoint designs. I think I was trying to think of like some quilt blocks here. You can see I colored in different squares to make different quilt block designs, see what I liked. So I'll use graph paper for that. And then I also have Myrtle. This is one of those like logic puzzle books. Books like this are really fun to have in, I think, a hobby bag, in your nightstand. If you are an analog bag person, these are fun to have. They are just great little books to just kind of challenge your brain if you are in like a thinking mood or, I don't know, a puzzly mood. I really, really enjoy these types of books. I have another one, a big green book that is like the size of a dictionary. So that always lives at home for the most part. And that is, I don't know what it is, but it's got crosswords, Sudoku, those like cryptic, what are they called? I don't know, you have to like unscramble, like figure out like a message. I don't know, that's like the enigma in that game, in that movie. I'm blanking on the word, but it has all of those types of things in it, so that's really fun. This one is more like logic puzzles, like these types of things. There's some other, actually, is it all logic puzzles? It might be all logic puzzles. Yeah, I think Myrtle is all logic puzzles, but I really love these types of books for like airplanes, car rides, sitting at a coffee shop, maybe in the morning. I want to like challenge my brain a bit. These are fun to do and fun to have, or fun to do, I think I said in a car ride, but if you're the passenger, these are really fun to do with the driver. Like you'll talk it out kind of, or crossword puzzles are also fun to do with the driver. Obviously they're driving and you're like talking through everything with them. So that, and then I also have The Woman in White, which is the physical book I am currently reading. So that is also in here. And God, everything is a mess again. I've got to organize it, that's fine. And then I also keep just these random things. So I've got hand sanitizer. I think I've talked about before, I'm always eating like chocolate or raspberries or things that get my hands a little messy. So if it's like raspberry stuff on my fingers, I can just do a quick spritz and it'll come off with this, which is great. I don't have to like get up and go wash my hands. I have hand lotion. I find my hands get really dry when knitting. I don't know why that happens, but I am constantly applying lotion. I really like these from, I'm gonna say it wrong, Caudalie. I've only seen them in Europe, but we might have them in the city or in like the States, maybe at Sephora, not at the drugstore. But I just buy these, a bunch of these at the drugstores in France or Europe every time I go. And they are great little to-go guys. And I find that they're like moisturizing and not sticky and they dry pretty quickly. And then glasses cleaner. I do wear glasses normally. So, I mean, I don't wear them in videos because like everything, the lights and stuff reflect funny, but I've got my glasses cleaner, which these need to be cleaned right now. So I'll do that after this, but that's always handy to have. I have headphones in case, I don't know, I want to watch something on my phone or my iPad while I am doing a hobby. And an extra hair tie. I keep a hair clip on the strap and a chapstick. This one is, I think it might have come with this hand cream in a little set. It is also by Caudalie. It is their lip conditioner, and it's just a really nice chapstick, plain chapstick, because my lips are always chapped, especially in the winter. So I think that is everything I keep in here. I used to keep, which I lost and I've been looking for about 6 months now, so I do need to order a new one, is one of those neck lights. Those are great, especially in the winter for road trips when I'm the passenger sitting in the back seat and I want to work and we're driving at night. Those are great for that. They're great for like in bed at night if I'm trying to read or knit and my husband is sleeping. Oh, I can wear that around my neck, or I don't know, just like random times. I found that to be very handy, but I have no clue where it went. I thought I left it in Vermont, and I searched the house high and low this past October and I could not find it. So that is the one thing that I would keep in here, but I don't know where it is. So that is everything I keep in my hobby bag. Like I said, I don't like shop this around with me everywhere. If I am going somewhere for the day, I'll just grab like my book or my knitting. But if I'm going somewhere for a long weekend or a few days by train or car, I will grab this whole bag and add a few things to it, like ChowGoo interchangeables or some extra yarn or maybe another needlepoint thing, canvas and thread that I might be working on, like a whip I haven't started, or another book. So that is everything that I keep in my hobby bag. I would love to know if you have a hobby bag, and if so, what are your essentials or what do you keep in it? And thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day. Bye.